I live in a tiny rural town where nothing exciting ever happens. I'm a teenage girl and somewhat of a loner. I have no real friends. I don't get invited to parties. Nothing exciting ever happens to me. One day, on my way home from school, I was walking past the local park and noticed a new sign nailed to a post. Carnival coming, Friday, October 13th. I couldn't believe it. A carnival? Here? In my boring little town? I counted down the days, dreaming about the bright lights, the rides, the sounds of laughter. Something to break the silence. But when the day came, the park was empty. No carnival, no music, no people, just the usual dead grass and rusted swings. I felt like the whole world had played a cruel joke on me. Later that evening, I took my dog Max for a walk to clear my head. That's when I heard it. A faint melody drifting through the air. Carnival music. The kind of eerie, old-fashioned tune you hear in movies. It was coming from the woods behind the park. Max's fur bristled, and he whimpered nervously, trying to pull me away. But I couldn't stop. Something pulled me forward, a strange force I didn't understand. Max tore away from his lead and bolted towards home, but I ignored him and continued toward the music. The woods opened into a clearing, and there it was. A carnival. But it wasn't like anything I'd imagined. The tents were faded and torn. The lights flickered dimly. The air smelled like stale popcorn mixed with something metallic and sharp. People wandered the grounds, but no one I recognized. Their eyes were glassy and empty, their smiles fixed and unnatural. A small man in a jester's costume appeared out of nowhere and stood beside me. His face was painted white, but his grin stretched too far, too wide. It seemed etched into his skin. "Welcome, welcome," he whispered, voice soft but chilling. "Come see your fate." He led me into a tiny tent. Outside, it looked cramped, no bigger than a doghouse. Inside, it stretched endlessly into darkness, lit only by a few dim candles casting an eerie glow. The air was cold and heavy. The jester motioned to a chair, the size of a child's toy. It was ridiculously small, too small, but when I sat down, to my surprise, I fit perfectly, as if it had been made just for me. He shuffled a deck of worn cards and laid 3 face down on a small table. "Turn them," he said, voice low and mocking. The first card showed the back of a girl inside a tent, staring at a sinister little man, the jester himself. My blood ran cold. The girl in the picture was dressed exactly like me, with the same hair color and style. She looked like me. The second card was the same image, except a large figure lurked behind the jester. Huge, with glowing red eyes and something sharp in its hand. I didn't want to turn over the third card, but when I looked up to the jester, a strange feeling came over me. I looked down again, and to my shock, the third card was already flipped. I didn't remember turning it over. It showed a gruesome scene. The girl lay lifeless on the ground, a massive wound in her chest, a pool of blood surrounding her. I looked closer at her face. It was mine. Panic hit me. I tried to stand, but the chair gripped me, claws digging into my skin. I struggled, twisting and pulling, but I was stuck. The jester's grin widened as he leaned in close. No escape. A large figure stepped out from the shadows, the same one from the cards. The candlelight glinted off the machete in its hand. With a sudden surge, I yanked free and stumbled to my feet. The tent wall seemed to close in, shadows reaching for me. The machete swung, slicing the air inches from my face. The candles blew out. Darkness swallowed everything. I ran, blind, crashing into the tent wall. I felt along the fabric, but there was no seam, no gap. The tent seemed fused to the earth. I slid to the ground, sobbing, until I heard footsteps. Heavy, getting closer. Little bells jingled. I jumped up and ran again. My strength drained, but then I saw a faint flicker of light ahead. Footsteps closed in behind me. Something swung past my head. I dove toward the light and tumbled through a gap in the tent wall, face first into the dirt. I was outside. I didn't stop running until I was home, until I was safe. I told my parents what had happened. They looked worried and agreed to come back with me. But when we returned to the clearing in the woods, it was empty. No carnival, no tents, no music. Just the wind whispering through the trees. At night, the music plays again, softer now, right outside my bedroom window. Max won't stop growling at the corner of my room where the shadows gather. And sometimes, when I'm falling asleep, I swear I hear bells jingle. Then a tiny voice, barely a whisper, right next to my ear. Next time, you won't run. If you ever see a sign for a carnival that never comes, don't follow the music. Some shows aren't meant to be attended, and some doors, once opened, never truly close. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. A quick shout out to my patrons, Old Penguin, Rinku Star, Melissa Perez, Icy Narrates, Seven Cities Journalist, Cupcake Hips, Eric Cifuentes, Alonso, Austin My Love, Ellie Hutmeyer, Jesse Hartley, Lawrence Wallen, Mr. Sankofa, and William Hartley. I always try to link a different charity in the description, so go ahead and check that out. I'm also going to start having more things on my Patreon soon, so keep your eyes peeled. And as always, I'd love to know how I can be praying for you, so go ahead and drop a comment and let me know how I can do that. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video.